I change my GPS devices more than a teenager changes their friend group. Next up on the channel, the Garmin FORERUNNER 965 that I've had in my possession for a bit of time now, and I want to give you my thoughts and experiences of dealing with, I believe this is my 9th Garmin device total over the last number of years, and I have no idea how many GPS devices I've used over the last number of years, but I purchased this with my own money. And since I'm under no obligation from Garmin or any other manufacturer for that matter, I'm just going to give you the straight goods on my experiences with using this, some of the positives, and maybe a thing or two that's negative about this device. Let's jump right into the things I like about this Garmin FORERUNNER 965. The first thing I like is 5 buttons. After having devices with touch screen mainly, I'm looking at you, Apple Watch or Apple Watch Ultra. Having 5 buttons as an outdoor enthusiast and a runner is, in my opinion, it's mandatory. Not 5 buttons necessarily, but having buttons to access all the menus and start and stop your workout and all those kind of things is essential. Having a touchscreen is a nice bonus, which this device does have, but having buttons to interact with the watch is a must. Speaking about buttons, if you could hit that subscribe button, that would really help out the channel. Moving on to number 2 of things that I like about this FORERUNNER 965. Number 2 is the screen. It's got a beautiful 1.4 inch AMOLED screen. And even though it's a big screen, 1.4 inch screen, I have quite a small wrist, 165 millimeter wrist. But having the 1.4 inch screen is really nice, especially for someone of my age. I'm in my later 50s now, and it's hard to see screens that are, say, 1.2 inch. So having the 1.4 inch screen, it helps when maybe your eyes aren't the best like mine, but it's just nicer to have a larger screen. And because it's such a lightweight watch, the 1.4 inch screen does not seem massive. I've had the Garmin Fenix 7X and the Fenix 6X, again, 1.4 inch screen, but just having the overall larger screen, just with a lighter device period, I really don't notice that it's a big device because it doesn't weigh a lot. So it seems like it's smaller than it actually is. And yes, having an AMOLED screen is not as easy to see in direct sunlight as with a memory and pixel screen, but it's bright enough. I believe it's 1000 nits, but really nobody cares about specific nits or anything like that. But this screen is bright enough to read in direct sunlight, not a problem at all. Number 3 of things that I like about the FORERUNNER 965 is the battery life. The battery life has been excellent. You can go on Garmin and look at the stats about how many hours you're going to get it with screen on time and always on display on and how many GPS hours and all those kind of things. Or if you want, go and watch any video from DC Rainmaker or go to his website. Provides excellent information, all the data about how long the screen lasts and all this kind of stuff. But I'm just going to say from my perspective, I don't even bother looking at this until well over a week. Just to give you an example, I charged it 9 days ago, I believe, full charge, and I've run several times since then, had it on my wrist every night sleeping, and I normally don't do that. And I'm currently at 32%. 9 days, 32% left. I won't look at it until late this week. I know there are many devices out there that can give you 3 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever of battery life. 2 weeks at least, unless you're going out for extremely long adventures, is more than enough battery life for just about everybody. And lastly, point number 4 of things that I like about the FORERUNNER 965, the Garmin Ecosystem. If you have a Garmin device, you know what I'm talking about. With Garmin Connect, the ability to load maps onto it, even though it has preloaded maps, but you can put in courses on it that you can follow, turn-by-turn directions, all those kind of things, all the different health monitoring stats that you could ever want up on the Garmin website, HRV, breathing rate, heart rate, steps, floors. Well, there's so many different things that you can look at online on the Garmin Connect website. Once you jump into the Garmin ecosystem, it's really difficult to go to another manufacturer like a Sunto or a Polar or Apple or Coros, any of those. They're all pretty darn good, but Garmin just takes the cake over any other manufacturer in my opinion. And quite honestly, the opinion of many Garmin fan people throughout the world. Speaking of Garmin, their headquarters for Canada is located about 20 minutes from me in the town of Cochrane, Alberta. And at some point in my YouTube journey, I'd really like to get an invite. Just a thought, Garmin. Just a thought. All right, it's not all sunshine and unicorns. I do have one downside to the Forerunner 965. And it's a pretty minor gripe, and it's limited to a very small subset of people who like to pursue outdoor activities, running, hiking, all those kind of things. And that is that the display on this is made of Corning Gorilla Glass 3, I believe it is, or whatever. It doesn't matter the technical jargon that they use. It is not a sapphire crystal. Now, there's an advantage to not having a sapphire crystal. It's easier to read when it's off axis. So off axis means you're not looking straight at the device. You're looking at a bit of a slant, and sapphire can be difficult or more difficult to see on the device. But sapphire is basically indestructible. If Garmin could somehow put a sapphire crystal on this device, I know they have the Epix Pro series and the Epix series, which has AMOLED and it has a sapphire crystal, but you're looking at almost twice the cost. If they could have this device and put a sapphire lens on the display, in my opinion, it's as close to a perfect device as one could get at this point. That's all. That's all I have for a negative for the Forerunner 965. Overall, it is a wonderful device, and chances are I'm going to hold on to this for longer than the average teenager holds on to a relationship. No promises on that though, everyone. Thanks for watching. Get outside.